Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Today is our June Global Video Hop Day. It's the first Wednesday in June, and so today's theme is fun fold cards. And I've been making fun fold cards for the last few weeks on my YouTube channel. But today I'm going to make a book fold card. And you start off with just half a piece of cardstock and you end up, so it looks like a little book, and this is where the binding might be on the book. And you can put a little ribbon on there, you can put designer series paper, but I'm going to show you how to make one using the Art Gallery stamp set and one of our new designer series papers, which is the Expressions in Ink. And it is such a pretty paper. I love these kind of sheets where it looks like the alcohol technique where you drop ink and then pour rubbing alcohol over it and it all spreads out, and then it's got a little gold leaf in. And you get that in a couple of colours. I like the greens, but I love the pink. See, isn't it pretty? So I'm going to use just this paper, and we only need a small amount. And so I'll show you how we're going to make it. I've got a piece of shaded spruce and I cut it straight down. If you hold the card portrait size, I cut it straight down the middle at 4 1/4. So it measures 4 1/4 by 11. And then we're going to score it, we're going to score it at 5 1/2, like you would a normal card. Just make sure my blade's out of the way. And then I'm going to open the trimmer and I'm going to score it again at 6 1/2. So I'm just going to push it along, and that's it. And let's put that out of the way. So when you fold it in half on the one score line, you can see that you've got this extra score line on the front, and that's the little bit that when we fold this backwards, that's the little bit that becomes the book fold. And I know sometimes people will call this a side fold as well, but I've always known it as a book fold card. And I'm going to glue that 1-inch strip. I'm going to glue it closed. Okay. Now I've made lots of these cards before. I'm not sure if I've videoed many of them. Excuse me while I just find my bone folder. I'm not sure I've videoed many of them. But I do them a lot for card classes because it's a really easy little fun fold. You don't need any extra card, you don't need to do lots of different cutting. It's a really quick and easy one to make. Okay, I'm just going to score, just burnish where I've scored just to make that easier to open. Now usually I only put designer series paper on, but because I'm using that paper and it has this little gold accent in, I wanted to put a gold paper behind it as well. So ordinarily I would cut my paper and have just one layer, but today I'm going to have 2 layers. So what I did with the paper, let me get that back. I took the one sheet, and the same as I always do if I'm making cards, I cut it into 4-inch strips. Because I know if I cut it into those kind of strips and then I use it for card fronts, when I cut across, it means I get 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom. So 6 card fronts, and I haven't wasted any. So I did just the same. I cut a 4-inch strip. I'll show you on this piece. And then I've used the top half and the bottom half, and then just a little strip from in the middle. So you really don't need much at all. Okay, so I've used gold metallic card as my backing card. And in the new annual catalogue, there isn't any gold flat metallic. I think it will probably be coming out in the Christmas catalogue. There is a rose gold, which is like a glitter card, but I don't have any of that. So I went back and I used some of my old gold card. And this is the little piece of designer series paper that I've cut just to go on the top, and it's going to finish up going here. If you check my blog, I'll have all the sizes on there. You don't need to worry about writing them down now or working them out. So as I said, normally I use a piece like this, But because I wanted just that little accent piece, I cut this and I just cut it sort of 1/8 of an inch smaller all the way around. So we've only got a tiny bit of the gold peeking out, but I wanted it to be just a narrow strip, just like it is in the pattern. So I've cut those twice. So I've got a piece this size for the top and a white piece with a little bit of green, and it will go on the front and on the inside. And I've also cut a narrow little strip that goes down the side, and I'm going to do the narrow strip first. So I've got my little piece of gold, just going to attach this. Now my glue doesn't want to come out, there we go. And we've got a little bit of stamping to do, but it is only quite quick. I'm just going to put these background pieces on. And don't worry if you've got a little bit of glue on there like I have. You can easily get that off with a little cloth and some water if you wanted, or it's going to be covered up with this paper anyway, so don't need to worry. Okay. Now why I chose shaded spruce is because that's one of the greens in this paper. Oops, I've got a lot there, look. Let's wipe that off, and when it dries, I'll use my glue eraser. Okay, so yeah, so I used it because I liked the tone of the shaded spruce in the paper. And that's one good thing about Stampin' Up, everything always matches. Now I'm going to stamp the large flower, so this one, and you're going to need this background stamp, the highlight stamp, and the little middle stamp, and the leaves. And I'm only using one ink colour, but I'm going to make it look as though it's got more ink colours. I'm going to use the Highland Heather, and just going to stamp this, stamp off once, and then I'm going to put my flower up here. Okay, so you can see it's quite pale. And then I'm going to get the next one, which is this layered piece, and I'm going to stamp this one at full strength. And you see this little, let me just show you, this little piece here, that's the piece that you line up with this little white piece here, and that makes it easy just to line up and just to see where your flower goes. I'm just going to hold it on there for a couple of seconds. I do often stamp on designer series paper. Sometimes it takes the ink much faster. Oh, while we're here, let's do an envelope at the same time. I'm going to make it exactly the same. So I'm going to do the background, stamp off, put my flower here, get the little layer piece, stamp that one full strength. Okay, and then we don't need the purple Highland Heather anymore. I'm going to get the Memento Black, and I'm going to do the middle just in Memento Black. So let's do that one first while the envelope's next to me. Okay, and let's do it on our little piece of designer series paper as well. Yep, that's good. And then I'm going to do my leaves. And again, I'm going to stamp off for these. I don't want them full strength. And I'm going to put my paper onto here just in case it goes off the edge. I'm not sure if it will. So I've got my leaves all attached. I'm going to stamp off once. This block's really a bit too big, but never mind. Okay, and then I want to do the same for my envelope. So I'm going to ink that up, pop that over here, and I know my leaf won't fit on the whole of the envelope, so I'm only having just a little bit. I'll pop that over there, and we're finished with the shaded spruce. And we don't need this piece anymore either. Now I'm going to attach this is going to be my front piece. I'm going to attach it to the gold. I find that sometimes the glue can take a little while to dry on the gold. It does dry, but just for speed, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. There we go. and it has only got that tiny little border. I didn't want much to show, I just wanted a little, and I think that's just about right. And I'm going to attach that again onto the front of the card. And just check where this little fold is, so you can see where to line this up. There we are. And then I'm going to do exactly the same for inside, but I have already stamped that piece. Now you don't need to put another stamp in here if you don't want to. I just thought that I've still got enough room to write who the card's to, a little piece, and write my name on the end. And I thought that might be quite nice for inside. I'm going to pop it on the gold. Let's make sure it's straight. There we go. And then we'll pop that just inside. And there we have it. There's the little book fold. Oh, that's a little bit squashed there. Look, I'm just going to pop it down with my bone folder. It's a little bit ragged from where I cut it on the trimmer, I think. There we go. That's better. Now, if you wanted to step this up, as you can see, I don't have a sentiment at the moment. You could stamp your sentiment straight from the stamps straight onto your designer series paper. But I wanted to step it up a little bit. And so I chose a couple of sentiments and the dies that go along with this. Now, if you don't have the die set, you could just stamp your sentiment on a little piece of basic white card and cut it out with scissors or a punch. And I chose two. I wasn't sure which one I was going to use. So I chose the Thank You and I'm Thinking of You, and I cut them out with these little matching dies. It's almost like a postage stamp edge. So I wasn't sure which one I wanted. And then what I also did was I stamped another one just of the flower. I didn't stamp the leaves, just the flower. And again, I cut it out with the dies, but you can see it's such an easy shape to cut. You could fussy cut it quite easily. And I'm going to pop that just on dimensionals, just to raise it up a little bit, just to give it that little bit extra. You really don't have to. It looks just beautiful stamped straight onto paper. And if you didn't have this designer series paper, you could use a white card, just basic white card, and you could even stamp some of these shapes. You could do little leaves on there. You could use one of these as a background and just make a little pattern as well. But I like this just popped up on dimensionals. It just gives that little bit extra. And then let's have a look. I think actually I like the I'm Thinking of You, and I'm going to put that on dimensionals too. And I'm going to use my little mini dimensionals. Oh, and look at that. If I get the scissors and cut off just that edge piece, excuse my reach, that would be just perfect. Stick it right down the middle. Let's take that backing off. Okay. I'm going to put it just over the design on here. I don't know. I am going to put it at the right hand side. I don't mind that it's covering over the leaves a little bit. I do want to see some of the green. There we go. Now, if you wanted to add even more to it, you could add some little rhinestones. You could add a little ribbon on here. Just tie a little ribbon and stick it on with a glue dot. There's lots of ways that you can add just a little bit extra. And right at the beginning, I said that some people will put ribbon here. What you would do is just punch two little holes, thread your ribbon round and tie it in a little bow here. And that looks really pretty as well. If you didn't want to punch holes, you could always just tie a ribbon and put it on with a glue dot down here too. So it is quite a versatile little card, and it's a really nice fun fold to have in your collection. Now don't forget to check all the other ladies who have joined in with the Global Hop this month. I'll put the link at the bottom of my YouTube, and then you can hop on over and see what they've made as a fun fold too. Thanks so much for watching me, everybody. I really do appreciate your support. Take care and have a wonderful month. Bye.